Hello, my name is Evie and welcome back to Overwatch Everyday. This is a series where I play 1 to 5 ranked games each day and I explain my thought process that gets me up to champion on all roles throughout the videos. Today, I start by playing Baptiste and talk a lot about a concept on how to position yourself to make the enemy team never able to stop you from healing, and I use that concept similarly on Ana and Juno later in the video. And to finish the video, I end up playing Cat and trying so hard to win back the trust of my team after I throw my tank into the enemy lines the first fight. So with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Um, Once we get our support up to Diamond and getting into Masters, then we'll be able to actually kind of climb all of the ranks up together. Here we see Havana, Eichenwalde, Numbani. Looking like Eichenwalde's going to be the map that's voted for. 1 vote for Numbani. Vote will be landing on Eichenwalde. A lot of people, I think, dislike Eichenwalde, especially because second point is just so oppressive with the defending high ground. It's a really wonky map, and it can be really difficult to actually play around it. I love this map. I really like Eichenwalde. I think that the second high ground is really like unique and interesting. I might even make like a video just sort of talking about it and how to play it at some point because I really like this map and I think that it's somewhat misunderstood how to go about it. But I really like first point. I really like second point. I'm not the biggest fan of third, but every hybrid or escort has to have that like one like last point that's just super like brawl based or like poke based for some reason, something super front to back. So we're gonna be seeing a Mauga and a Junkrat. Wondering what my other support is looking to pick here, because if we could play a bunch of things with this comp so far. We can play like Bap, we can play Kiriko, Juno, Ana. Our other support is going to go Lucio, so this keeps our options very open as to what we can be playing. Kiriko's definitely the safest play here, without a doubt. Juno's definitely also fine. Something that can just provide a lot of healing to our team. I think that I am going to play Baptiste. I don't think that there's too many like quirky picks that I can really run here or force here, since we're just gonna need a bunch of healing for Amalga. They are on Junker Queen. Junker Queen Moira, so they want to be playing really fast and they want to be getting onto us. Usually whenever they have a Moira, you don't want to be fighting longer fights because it's just going to slowly bleed down the healing resource of the Moira. And we're going to be taking a bunch of damage on our approach. I'm not even able to swing and shoot the enemy team at all because there's just so much damage coming into our team. But that is definitely okay, because anytime that we're just going to be like from a healing, it means that we're going to build an extremely fast window. We're definitely going to have the first ult open here and the first ult in the lobby up. But as we just keep our team up, eventually they're able to get a good step, knowing that we don't necessarily need to do anything yet. We just need to sit there and kind of heal. Now we have our window, we're able to cap first point, and we keep our options open for our team to just eventually step once they see an opportunity. Amaga wants to be chilling on point, which is definitely okay. I know having 3 people on the payload is the fastest that it can go. But I just like poking up a little bit, seeing if I'm able to follow up on anything, because I see that we have 2 people sort of in their backline or inside of them. So I just want to see if any attention is sort of being peeled, if I can catch anybody like kind of AFK or trying to like stand still for their own shots. Their Bastionol is going to come out onto us. I think that definitely a misplay by me. I didn't respect it at all. I didn't think that would be coming on to me. As soon as you hear Bastion ult use as Baptiste, you usually want to be popping your exit boots because you're able to jump away from the ground where the explosion is going to splash. You're going to be taking a lot less damage and you're able to live it super consistently, but because I didn't do that, we are going to go down. So this lane is going to be pretty important here for us to win, so I'm just going to be popping my window as the rest of the enemy team is just chilling in open space, which the window would help with a lot. We see this Cassie on high ground. That's going to be a pretty big issue if we leave it unmarked. So I'm going to jump through this right side area instead of directly onto him, because that way it'll give me a little bit more control over the fight. I'm going to have some cover to play around. And I'm able to disengage if I need by backing out through that right side. I really don't want to be on the cart here, knowing that they have Junker Queen ult coming up soon. If they want to recontest, it can be really, really scary to be on the cart here as like our primary healer. Because if I get hit with anti and I go down early, then the fight's kind of over. My plan was I was going to back up and use my lamp to sort of sustain the Junker Queen ult. I did do it again. They use their Bastion form, which is super, super chill. We almost have our window again. Our Onion goes in aggressively. Looks like they find a decent bit of value. Here we were saving our lamp just for this moment, but unfortunately we will be going down anyways. Be coming out just a little bit too late. Our team is already out, I'm already gone, and it'll be kind of difficult to turn this fight around, but my team is amazing. They almost do. They do end up doing it. Wow. Crazy clutch. We almost have our second perk, which will allow us a lot more mobility, and we're able to play around like these chandeliers super easily because we can kite to the high ground. They use their beast, so that means that we can't actually do anything. We can't win a brawl into them. So I'm just going to be on this right side. Anti comes out. I actually remember to charge my exit boots that time. But even if those Bastion shots were onto me, should be okay. Want to give my Mauga options to play around, just putting our lamp in there. Even if I can't exactly see what's going on, I know that there are going to be people looking at him. So just throwing my lamp there, giving them any sort of lifeline that I can provide in these brawls is going to be super, super good. As BAP, like I mentioned a little bit before in the Queen fight, I don't want to be walking up. I don't want to be on the cart really brawling out the people there. I can do my job from that like back little high ground. I can be healing everyone that I need to heal. I can be shooting, making sure that you understand, hey, I'm doing my job right now. I'm getting a lot of value from this position. I don't need to move it. Is going to be crucial if you want to be climbing on any role, but especially these like main healer supports. Here we're going to be seeing a super, super similar comp. Instead of our on run, we're going to have a Torbjorn. Baptiste still definitely very good here. We saw the enemy team swap to a Mauga and a Bastion. I think that while Baptiste is going to be really good, especially into Mauga and Bastion, sometimes you aren't able to have like as much agency over the fight as Baptiste, since it's just going to be a raw numbers hero. The enemy team is playing raw numbers heroes. Ana is going to provide a lot more utility, and I'm going to have a little bit more control over the fights with my nades and my sleep darts. But that it does mean that my positioning is going to be a lot harder, and I'm going to need to get value out of my cooldowns if this hero is going to work in the Mauga like brawl mirror. So initially starting this point, if they're going to be on like that Junker Queen stuff again, then I need to make sure that I'm not caught out by it. I won't be positioning back, but still in a place where I can carry my team. They are on Bastion Winston. So I'm just going to keep my Mauga up the best that I can. As they swing to the right, I'm going to try to swing to the left using the little car as cover. It can be a little bit scary, especially into heroes that can kind of like one-shot, like a Widow or Ashe or Cassie. But as our Malga walks up and they start getting outside of our LOS a little bit, we just need to walk up. We know that the cat's on point, but we can't do anything about it yet because our Malga is so aggressive, which is definitely okay, but it just means that we need to be paying a lot of attention to them as a support. So here we see their Malga using E and we see our Malga going in. With that Ashe, now we need to be super careful about like the longer range directions that we're peeking. We don't want to be peeking the enemy team much at all. Unless we're looking for like our nade. So we're trying to minimize the time that we actually see the enemy team and just trying to play in positions where we can see our Malga, we can see all the people that we need to heal, but we're not giving the enemy team any chances to actually kill us. Be coming out for my team. I really want to save my nano. Cat going onto the point, but again, I see my Malga pin in and I need to just be ready to carry him. I'm gonna give up that tick. But Cat gets out, and I'm going to be looking for an aggressive nade. I think this can hit. So now they've concluded that they're going to be using their Cat and Malga in combination. Our Malga is getting dragged off the map, which really sucks. I'm going to probably nano my Torb here. Oh, my Malga just kills a cat off. We see their whole team going right side, so I'm just going to be playing this left side, keeping an eye out on people that want to be approaching. And because we're holding this space, we're going to force their Echo to sort of, if they knew that we were there, they would either have to look at us and not at our team on the point, in which we had both of our cooldowns ready to fight that duel. But if they wanted to ignore us, then we'd just have an opportunity to insta-killer with our sleep. Listening. I'm trying to play inside of my Lucio speed boost whenever I hear that Bastion will come out. Since we're not on Baptiste, we don't have any of our mobility options like before to avoid the Bastion ult. So we want to be using our speed boost to give ourselves a little bit of extra room to try and dodge the shells hitting the floor. So their Malga gets very, very low HP. Their Echo comes onto the left side angle. And we are going to be chilling. Unfortunately not able to hit a nade yet onto their Malga. It's a little bit silly, but we are able to use our nades pretty effectively to keep our team up. Their Malga starts spinning onto right side, and I get hit by this cat. But we are going to be able to live. Our Malga goes down because we were taken out of the fight for a little bit, which really sucks. But we've been holding on to our nano for quite some time now. I'm going to probably even use it to like live myself. We hit a nade onto their Malga and we get a nano boost onto our Torbjorn. Ideally it would have been our Malga, but they were walking a little bit too quickly for us. I had to reload at the worst time. Gonna be stepping up, and we will be having to play second point. Really sucks, but definitely happens. Sometimes we're just gonna be rolling, and then they're going to find their kills. I was trying to kite back onto the high ground, since if our Ana is able to get onto the high ground early, it would be very, very strong. We know that this Bastion ult might come onto us in the spawn room, but it doesn't, so we are able to walk up freely yet again. I was expecting my Lucio to try to path with me to the high ground, but that was not the case. So we're going to be on the back foot for a while here because we staggered, and been a consistent issue for today is I've just been dying late. I've been staggering and making the fights way harder for my team. And I'm gonna make sure that that's not the case again. Where their cat is pretty close to their ultimate again, so I might even try to save my sleep. No, I don't have it yet. Oh my god. This is last fight for the point. I might try to nano my Junkrat in. I'm able to trade out their Bastion due to the headshot perk, which was going to be really, really great for my Mauga. Now, there's not going to be any like huge force to actually deal with my Mauga as they come back into the fight. They don't have that much healing though, so it will be a little bit scary, but we are able to close out that fight. Ideally, I would have my sleep dart to try to hit the cat on their walk up. As their team starts to approach a little bit more, I'm going to be putting myself in spots to try and make it difficult to get onto me and provide myself with a little bit of cover. We see their Bastion onto the high ground, which is the main person that we want to be poking out. I'm not relaxed enough with my shooting, so I'm missing more than I should. I'm just going to take a breath. We see their cat walking onto us, and kind of blow up to it, but they do end up going down. We're gonna finally pop our nano, and Lucio's going to walk onto us. Cat's gonna walk onto us. Really important that we live here. Trying to get a second nade, especially with this huge cage coming out, so we're just able to blow up their entire team. Jiggle peeking for our Mauga. We don't need to always be peeking. We don't need to be super swinging whenever we can heal. So we're just going to be like continuously jiggle peeking, giving the enemy team as little chance as possible to actually like take us down, and we're going to win that game. I don't think this is not the best day for me, but that is definitely okay. We're still doing our job to the best that we can. And we will be closing out these games very consistently. That game had a ton of healing required. We had 14,000 healing in 12 minutes, so going above 10,000 heals per 10, which is pretty good. It's pretty uncommon at least. Usually you want to have a little bit more balanced damage to healing ratio. On heroes like Ana or Baptiste, especially Baptiste, you want to be one of Bap's like main things is that they're going to be really strong with their damage output. But sometimes since your job is to heal, you're going to be the only one who's capable of providing the level of healing that you can. If you gotta heal to win the game, heal to win the game. Put the fries in the bag. Don't try to like be a superhero if all you need to do to win is heal. Alright, going into what I believe is probably going to be our last game of the day. Colosseo is going to be the map that we play. I'm going to see what my team picks here. I think since there are a lot of like supports that do fairly similar things or are able to do similar jobs to one another, like Ana, Baptiste, Juno, Kiriko can generally all provide the level of healing that teams will need. I think sometimes it's going to be I'm able to do the job that I need to do while playing like heroes that have like more or lean into more concepts that I want to talk about. So Diva Band, Cat Band, Vendetta, and Cassidy. Definitely fine by me. I think eventually it'd be kind of fun to talk about Cat a little bit. That is a newer hero for me. I've played and studied a little bit of him, more so than like Mizuki. But it's definitely like a newer hero. I don't fully completely understand them and how to play them. So we're gonna see a Hazard, Reaper, Hanzo, Mizuki. So a few things that we can be thinking about here with the Hanzo and the Mizuki, maybe wanting to play a little bit slower. It's going to be hard to actually provide a speed boost for our team. We could maybe go Juno. This would be very vulnerable to flankers or heroes like Genji or Tracer. We don't necessarily have any utility to sort of deal with it, but I'm gonna give it a whirl. I'm gonna give Juno a try. What Juno will provide is just like that baseline, like large amounts of healing that we're gonna need to keep our Hazard and our Reaper up in these like big brawls. Our speed boost is going to be pretty useful to actually get our team into fights. I get a little bit scared using ring kind of aggressively like that sometimes, because if some players will take it as like a I need to go in and die kind of deal. But here I'm giving I'm just want to be providing like options for our tanks when I don't need the ring for myself or my ring to live. So I'm just going to be positioning in areas that makes it hard for the enemy team to deal with me at all, and providing as many options for my team as I can. Anytime that I'm going to be peeking like a bunch of people is when I want to be using my Ray, like we were talking about a little bit beforehand with or on Eichenwalde. Ideally, if our job is going to be to heal, then I want to be peeking as few people on the enemy team as possible. But whenever we're going for our big rays is when we're gonna want to like actually swing out wide and give a lot of people, or get a lot of people in our sight line. So we're gonna be using, or usually swinging, to look for our rays aggressively whenever we know our Hazard's taking like a lot of attention. I'm gonna be shooting my Mizuki here to try to break them out. Throwing my ring onto my front line in this brawl here. I might even pop Ray. I think that's a winnable game. Yeah. It's a little bit further back than I'd like, but it's able to help keep us up for a second, and then their Hanzo comes back and finds some unfortunate headshots. Really sucks, but not much that we could really do about it. Maybe it'd just be better to cut our losses and not use our Ray there. I thought that just might be winnable though. Throwing a ring onto my Hazard, and as they start to take some aggression is when I'm going to be looking for these missiles. They pop their visor, so we're just going to be super safe, super chill here. I'm actually going to be going up through this direction. Being creative with your pathing to make it as hard as possible for people to get onto you is going to be pretty important, especially on support, when one of your main jobs is going to be to live. It's going to be pretty nice to be able to think about the map, understand the map, and just path in the best way possible to not die. As we swap to Winston though, I'm going to probably go a different hero after this ultimate of mine. They pop Coalescence, so I don't want to drop down, so I'm going to be committing my shift here and using my speed boost to try to get our Winston out. I now have no cooldowns, so I'm just going to try to get in LOS of my Winston the best that I can and keep them alive. Unfortunately, my missiles are not actually doing that much, and we do get hit by the dominant ult, so we're just going to try to break it as much as we possibly can and then grab the mini to stay alive afterwards. I'm going to be ripping my my Juno Ray like really early this fight just so I can like swap off, but hopefully this Juno Ray is going to be an important factor in us winning. Using my speed boost ring, and I'm going to be just popping my Ray. I see a lot of them really close, and my missiles are going to hurt really bad now that we're damage boosted by our Ray. We pop our primal, So we're just going to be using our shift, float above them, and trying to get ourselves into positions to poke them out as much as possible. Chasing down this Lucio the best we can, kind of going into kill mode now that we know that our team is relatively safe. Most of the damage dealers on the enemy team are gone and down for the count. So we just want to be trying to clean up the best that we can. Even Juno, especially now that she can headshot, is going to be capable of finding those frags. But the main thing that you really need to lock down and hone in on is understanding and identifying when you don't need to put in more healing. Since healing is your main job, if you go for kills before that, before your job is kind of done or not needed anymore, it will throw games very, very quickly. Holding this high ground here just because it's able to see everything that I need to see, but I'm a little bit slow to react to my Sojourn getting stepped at here. So I'm gonna pop that ring. I'm gonna just try to just hide for a second. It's gonna be super, super scary to kite out into that open space, but because our Mizuki pops their ult on point, we're gonna be there trying to live the best that we can. This mini play is a little bit scary. I die. Yeah. That's okay. We are able to get the checkpoint. We almost farm another Ray. I think that I will stick on Juno just for a little bit to keep this Ray. Ultimates are going to be a really, really big deal when it comes to especially winning in push. Ult economy is going to be like a pretty important thing to manage, and I talk about it a lot on some previous games in push, and it's definitely the case here. So I'm going to be using my speed boost, shooting out the stamina who my Winston is able to swoop into us. We go even in the fight, and I'm just going to walk up trying to help my Winston the best that I can, poking down that Moira to make it much more likely that my Winston's able to kill her before she gets her fade off. The main thing about getting the triple jump perk is it's going to be very, very easy to line up like some big missiles. So here we're actually in a bit of a sticky spot. I'm going to shift, and as soon as I see them committing a bit more, I'm going to pop my Ray ability. Probably once they touch the car. I'm popping it. We're falling very low. Their Domino's pretty committed inside of our space. We have our Ray damage boost, so we're going to be looking to swing that Hanzo with our missiles, and we will be turning this around, making sure that we're keeping an eye on anyone sort of like walking into our space, and we take the lead back, and we're looking very, very comfortable for this game. But a little thing that I like to keep in mind, or a saying that me and my friend have on push: nothing matters until the last 2 minutes. So the game has started now, and how we want to be thinking about our position here is they have 2 minutes to basically win 2 fights, ideally, or maybe even just 1 fight. So we want to make sure that that 1 fight that they need to win is as hard to win as possible. So my idea is I want to be farming my Ray as fast as I possibly can, so that when they want to be like stepping, it's going to be super difficult. I'm going to speed ring my Bastion out here and take this high ground. We use a lot of ultimates, which is not my favorite thing to see. I'd really like those ultimates to be used a little bit later, but we work with what we have, and we are going to clean up the rest of the kills here. So even more so important that we're going to need to farm our Ray very quickly. So I might even be playing a little bit aggressive. Even if I die here, if I get a lot of ult charge, it'll give us a much higher chance of winning the game, because they're going to need to win about 1 really important fight, and I want to be ready to match that important fight with my Ray. Our team is doing a great job of living that visor push, though. Our Bastion finds a bunch of kills, and it's making it even more difficult for their team, and we might just even full cap. Amazing, wow. Awesome play from our team. And we will be winning this last game. Just completely staying on Juno the entire time. We're going to be prioritizing our healing, making sure that we're building our ult charge the best that we can, and thinking about our positioning, make it as hard as possible for the enemy team to stop us from healing. And we will be closing out that game. I think even if they were able, or if the enemy team was able to win that fight, since we were building our Ray at a pretty quick... Oh, come on, come on. This is definitely going to be... Okay, maybe I'll break this video up into 2 parts. But come on, we gotta get diamond. Come on. It's just one more game. If we get one more win, we'll hit diamond. So I'm gonna play this out. I'll probably contemplate a little bit later when I am editing, if I'm gonna break this up into 2 videos or just 1 video. Oh, we get our drive. Okay. So I play this game a lot. I've been playing since the first beta back in 2015. And I adore Overwatch with all my heart. But while I can play the game pretty good, I am a super noob when it comes to like the cosmetics in the game. I didn't know what like mythic prism or like mythic skins or prisms were, or kind of how they worked until last month. I didn't know that mythic guns were different from like mythic skins. I thought that they kind of like came like hand in hand. I also don't exactly know how drives work. My only experience with drives is that a lot of like GM or champ players kind of like start saying how like the game's qualities or the like ranked lobby qualities kind of like go bad when drives start. I don't really feel it. The quirky thing about me, I don't know exactly why, but I like any lobby that I load into, I can't like tell the difference that easily. You could put me in a plat lobby and blindfold me, or like turn off all the ranks, and I probably couldn't tell it apart from like a GM or champ lobby. I know it sounds probably silly or crazy, but I don't notice like the like quality of ranked games, since I just hyper focus on trying to adapt to whatever like the game gives me, since that's what I find it so fun. I think adapting to RNG in games is really fun, and I just sort of like treat my ranked teammates as like RNG elements, or the enemy team is like RNG elements. Now I have to play around and find my own value. So here, ending up on Suravasa, this is my favorite map in the game. I really like Suravasa. We are looking to have a Roadhog and an Alari, so we're going to be leaning into a lot slower direction here. Something that's like making it so we're in positions to like really like chill the game down, get it because they picked May. And find our value over time, making sure that we're able to keep everyone up. I might try to get a little bit quirky here with this team composition. I'm gonna try out Cat. Ideally picking up our Roadhog. Our May is fine, I guess. I'll just bring this guy up, and then I'll back up for our Roadhog. No, not you. I really want to be getting my Roadhog like aggressively like in. Not necessarily like getting them into a position where they'll int, but okay. I kind of killed my Roadhog. I didn't think that they would have a Junkrat and the trap would be right there. Alright, I'm not playing well enough today for Cat. I'm gonna swap off as soon as I get the chance. But with Cat, the general idea is that like your hypermobility wants to like be enabling your team a lot. Our Hog doesn't trust me anymore, that's okay. Even if you're not playing necessarily for like to pull someone around, cat has a lot of individual value to be gotten. And using like your third person peek, they're gonna be one of the best scouters in the game as well. So if you are a big like commer in ranked, you're able to provide a lot of sort of information for your team and letting them adjust the best that they can. But here with cat especially, it's going to be like an ultimate like plus winner. So if you have like any sort of side fights or angles that would need like some sort of like contesting, they're going to be like really strong at doing that, or following up on plays, because we're just able to get in there and clean up super easily. So just making sure that we're in pretty neutral spots, similar to like Lucio, where we want to be scouting, we want to be denying the enemy team, and we want to be cleaning up on any advantages that we have, or being ready to peel anything that our team might struggle with. So here I'm going to be holding this area, maybe trying to cat ult this Doomfist. We do unfortunately miss. I'm going to pop my Purr, making sure that my cast stays alive. A lot of ultimates coming out. Ideally, if we can keep our Roadhog up, that would be wonderful. Nade coming out means that we probably aren't going to be able to do that. So we're just looking for our trades the best that we can. And we will go down. Very okay. I don't think that we're actually doing too much, or I'm not playing that well on cat. I'll try it for like one more fight, especially now that we're on soldier. I think that'll be pretty good. Our teammates will be going down since we're not actually it needs to be me that touches. Our hog hits an amazing hook, which is going to be awesome, and our hog is going to be able to get on the point. So right now I'm pretty low HP. I just want to be chilling and poking and healing the best that I can from spots that make the enemy team's job difficult and it's hard to like get onto me, and cleaning up anyone who's in poor positions. So here I'm going to give my team the option to get to the point quicker. Our hog's walking up, so I'm going to get my Alari onto this high ground and just shoot out their Sigma the best that we can, breaking the shield and getting the hook opportunity. Ideally trying to get my guy out of here. They do not want it. They're Hanzo speaking. I'm a little bit scared of that, so I'm just going to chill and just care our hog the best that I can, making sure that we still recognize like our job as a healer, even though we have all of these like options, all this mobility. Knowing that like we still need to be carrying people is really important. I'm not using my Purr properly. I'm just forgetting about the cooldown since it's a little bit too new of a hero for me. I think that a lot of value that I'm missing is coming from my Purr though, so as I see it coming off of cooldown, I'm actually just going to use it to chase down that kill. It does do a significant amount of damage. I think that using it on our engages or cleanups is going to be really important. Here we have our cat ultimate, so I was going to actually try to take that Sigma out from that, but our Roadhog beat me to it. So as our Alari ult comes out, we're just going to be chilling around this high ground. I'm going to be sitting above here and maybe looking for a catnap onto their tank as they walk up, just sort of dragging them into the pit. I'm a little bit worried about getting caught out here. I'm probably going to path that way, using like most of my boosters to do so. I'm scared of that. Fire walking onto our backline. I'm not able to kill it in time, but I can do this. We force out their Sigma Flux, which is definitely okay. A better thing to do as cat is going to be to just actually like drop them down into the pit, like lower yourself until they go all the way down to make it so that they don't have the option to use any movement ability while they're still like stunned in your grasp. I'll play cat until I lose a point. I really don't think that I'm actually like doing all that much, but I'm still trying to like figure it out. I think I need to be getting a lot more value out of my purrs in terms of healing as well as in cleaning up and damaging. So we see their Sigma on main, we see our Allari getting low on this right side, so we're going to come to their aid immediately. And now we see our Roadhog low on this main area, so we're going to keep using our mobility to just bounce back and forth. We're going to be +1, and since our Roadhog had a difficult time actually walking up onto the point, we're going to be the one to get these touches. Their Coalescence wants to come onto us. I'm going to be back on the point and using my purr to keep our Roadhog up the best that I can. And their Ana will be going down to our whole hog. Their Bastion comes back main. And we will be closing out this fight. Wonderful. I really want to be dragging my hog in there, but I really think after first fight they just decided not to trust me ever again, which is very fair, very okay. And we don't necessarily need to be dragging people around on cat to be finding a lot of value. But it's definitely helpful to do so. So we know that they're probably going to pass through this right side. I'm going to be actually waiting to use my catnap until they're a little bit closer to the ledge. And be using my dash down to try and be ready to care my Allari if needed. My Roadhog hits an amazing hook. And now, especially with our new perk where our melee damages are going to be hurting a lot, we want to be playing a lot for these sort of like cleanup kills. I'm low HP, I'm going to pop my purr to just make sure that I stay alive here as well as my Allari stays alive. I'm going to be playing around these high ground areas where to make the enemy team uncomfortable as they sort of walk up. Maybe we're going to see something right side. Yep, we do see this Bastion peeking the right side. It's going to be a little bit of a difficult spot for us because they're going to have a few angles onto us. But now that that is over, we're going to try to clean up on our Allari ult the best that we can. Don't want to be being caught out on this little corner, since if their M-Ray swung aggressively there's a very high chance that we would just go down. Like Juno, since a lot of these flying heroes can kind of move in very straight or predictable arches, it's going to be really important to mind the enemy team's hit scans, because hit scans are going to be the ones that actually clean up those sort of movement patterns like the best. Trying to keep our Cassidy up the best that we can. We don't even need our catnap, and we will be winning this game, ending 18-2, highest KD in the lobby. Not actually that much damage, but just because we're putting ourselves in spots to constantly like heal as much as we can, as well as clean up the enemy team anytime they overextend. Even though I messed up my micro a lot, I forgot to use my purr a lot in early game, or like my melee on a lot of the steps, we are able to win and clean that up solely on cat, and that will put us into diamond. Making sure that we understand like what value our hero is going to bring to the table, how we can actually like play around like our team and the enemy team, and using our mobility especially on cat to just like heal and get around everywhere that we need to do to make sure that our teammates don't die, is going to be what really does that game in. So now that we've ended diamond on support, that will probably be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.